Okay, well, thank you for all coming. I'm sorry it's so late tonight, but hopefully we can run through this pretty quick and answer any questions. What most of you are here for is where the cone is set. It is 30 feet from the 4/6 sign on that side. We'll start with the prelims for the amateur. I have Carly Jarrell riding for me. She is riding a 3-year-old, so please be patient and understanding of everything we're doing here. We're going to just kind of wing this and see how it works out for us. But she was very nice to give her time here. So you're going to come up. We're just going to run through this. There was a lot of mention of center line and midline. Of course, to me, the midline is where the gates come together. You know, center line is the red lines on the wall, the two red lines on the wall. So. We have that in several of the patterns. Also in these patterns, I wanted to mention real quick, the circles and everything we're going to be discussing here this evening. When I look at the circle, I think of it as a clock face. So if you hear me mentioning slowing down at 11 o'clock or slowing down at 7 o'clock, just look at it as a clock face and try to follow. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer that if I confuse anybody. So I'm going to step over here out of the way a little bit, and we're going to have Carly run through. This will be the amateur prelims and the level 2 amateur finals. So you start this pattern on the right lead, loping down through here. I am looking probably at the Adequan Bank of America sign. When I get to the center line, I'm going to change leads. No, I'm sorry, you're going to increase your speed to a lope with speed. Start your circle. Here you're going to slow down. That's where you're going to slow down for that collected lope there at the 1 o'clock, I would say. She's going to do her lead change. She's going to show us simple lead changes tonight. Then we're going to lope the rest of the circle around, find the center of the pin, stop in the center, back a horse length, 1.5 turns to the right. That was very nicely done. It says jog a U-turn. So to me, I would, let's do a little level degree of difficulty here. And I thought she showed a very nice line there. That's kind of what I would imagine if I was preparing her for it. Get to the center line, increase your speed to the extended jog. Come here, make your square corner. I'm imagining about that 30-foot distance off the wall so it matches that side of the arena. Halfway down that line, you break to a walk. It does say forward walk. She's riding a 3-year-old again, so we got to forgive her for that. I thought where she did the transition was very nice. Of course, we'd like to see a little bit more forward walk there. So I'm going to let Carly run through this just one more time and see if she can get that lead changed a little bit more where we would want to see that. She's at the cone. We're going to lope off in the right lead. When you get to the center line, so it's going to be a little bit below the Jumbotron probably. That's where we're going to ask for the increase of speed. A little better job creating a circle this time. It was nice. Again, she's volunteering her time here. She's slowed down there at a better spot, collected. Simple change, nicely done. Really good on this side of her circle. When I talked to Chris today, he said, this pin is a big pin. Go ahead and use your space a little bit down there on that end for these patterns these first patterns we're discussing. Get to the middle. She did a nice job there. Back a horse length. I think a horse length is 4 to 6 steps. 1.5 turn to the right. Jog off, jog a U-turn. That was very nicely done. That's a high degree of difficulty. I think, that's credit earning right there. Got to the center, increased her speed to the extended trot. Excuse me. Found her line there nicely. Better transition down. And this is a very safe answer. It's not, the extended walk is not credit earning. Hopefully on your horses, more finished horses, you can show not an extended walk, but a forward walk. I'd like to see just a little bit more pace there. So Okay, so we're going to move on to the level 2 amateur select finals pattern. It's really a very similar pattern. There's not going to be a lot to discuss, except for the leads. The leads are opposite. She's going to start on the left lead. She's going to build the left lead down through there, change leads to the right lead, so a counter for the second half of that circle. The rest of the pattern is going to be exactly the same. So I wanted to roll into that. I'm sorry. So I know the judges will be sitting there. So I think, in fairness, left side of the gate. That's where I see the center being when I stand right here in the center. Yep. Midline. I'm sorry. Thank you for the question. She just asked about where's center, midline. I misspoke. Not the middle of the gates, to the left side of the gates. Okay. Carly, if you're ready, let's try to run this pattern. Again, like I said, it's really a very similar pattern, just opposite leads in the first part of it. I like the line that Carly is choosing here, and like I said, you can see this moves her into what looks more as a circle as she goes up around here. Very nicely done. And it's kind of nice seeing this horse through the simple lead changes. I mean, there are going to be people here that don't have that finished flying lead change, and the simple lead change might be the better option. I feel like as a judge, I hold them equal. I expect both to be done well. So if you choose a simple lead change, do a good simple lead change. If you do a flying lead change, please have a good flying lead change. Looked like as I turned away, she got stuck there for a second, but we're seeing what she can put together here. Again, I really think she's choosing very good lines. So if you are sitting here watching where should my lines be, I think she's doing a good demonstration of where those lines should be drawn. And sure enough, this 3-year-old's getting better about it, having a more forward walk as we go through these patterns. So thank you, Carly, very good. Any questions about the level 2 select finals pattern? Okay, we're gonna run through, and because it's a similar pattern, we're gonna go ahead and do the champion to champions level 1 pattern. Again, a very similar layout. She's gonna start on the right lead. When she gets to the midline, she's going to do a simple lead change. It does call for a simple lead change. Do not do a flying lead change or you get a 0. So again, same path. It is going to be different on the top, and we'll discuss that as she goes through this. So right lead to the midline. Simple lead change. Left lead. Now as she goes up around this circle, it's going to be the same circle we've seen, but this time it calls for at the midline, building up to an extended lope. Very nicely done. And it does say, it calls for you to collect the lope before the stop in the center. So I'm looking at that 7 o'clock on that clock face to come back to that collected lope. And this is just a 180. Same path we've seen. Carly's going to have Houston's horse very broke by the time this is all said and done. We appreciate this. Any questions about the Champion of Champions L1 pattern? Okay, we're going to move on to a little different thing because the L3 select moves directly into the finals. We're going to discuss that pattern. Again, be patient. This was actually just dropped on us about an hour ago, so me and Carly are kind of winging this a little bit. So be patient as we go through this. And again, remember it's a 3-year-old. It's going to be 60 feet from the Chewy sign on this side. What, 30? Was it 30 on that side? 30, I'm sorry. Is it 30 or 60, Scott?
30.
30 feet.
30 from the rail.
From the rail, from the Chewy sign. If you're level 1, I believe the level 1 Champion of Champions is in the other arena. It's 30 feet. I think it's the AQHA sign on that side of the performance arena. That looks a little. Is it an AQHA sign on the other arena, right? So I read over it twice, and in my understanding, the level 3 amateur and the level 3 select, the only difference is they will drop their stirrups after the turn, and they'll ride through the pattern with their stirrups dropped after the turns at the beginning, and the amateur. Okay, so we're going to try to run through this, do an extended jog to the middle, to the center line, I'm sorry. I'm going to do a 360 to the right. 1 1/4 turn to the left. We're not going to make Carly drop her stirrups. We're just showing you lines here. You're going to lope off in the right lead. Move into your circle. Now these are going to be very similar circles to what we've seen before, but I do want to caution you when you are doing this pattern, the circle on the bottom here is going to be similar to the circle on the top, so you don't want to be too large up there. I think she showed a nice line there. Moved into the extended lope. Again, we're going to collect the lope here at 5 o'clock. Get a little misstep there. Simple lead change or flying lead change if you have it. We're going to do a small circle to the inside here. I maybe would have made my small circle I would have steered just a little earlier. Remember, we have a young horse here, so be patient with this and understanding, but I would have maybe made that circle. She got off to that side of the arena just a little bit. Now we're going to move up to the extended lope on the left lead. Do not go below the cone. The cone is your barrier here. Break to the extended trot. Shows you about halfway to the middle of that circle. Break to a walk. It says walk 2 horse lengths. So to me, a horse length is 4 to 6 steps, so 8 to 10 steps. Back a horse length and a half. You are going to back, I'm looking at it as 2/3 of the length. So I mean, if you think 6 steps, however you want to look at that, just don't back all the way back to the center. We're going to side pass. Impressive that our 3-year-old's able to do that. Again, 4 to 6 steps to side pass. Jog, go up, make your corner. Remember, the judges are sitting there, so you do not want to get on that wall. I would try to stay about the distance you are from this wall on that side. After you pass that cone, your pattern is complete. Questions about that pattern? All good on that side? Must be. So like I said, the level 3 amateur is the same pattern, except for you drop your stirrups. We're not going to make Carly go through that. I think she's been a very nice player here for us. It's going to be the same lines. And any questions? Okay. Just remember when you're sitting here enjoying this, I hope you enjoyed it a little bit and you got some clarification. This is all put on, you know, with the professional horsemen and Nutrena. When they pass that bucket around, try to be generous. It really means a lot to the trainers and the professional horsemen and what it can do for people. I think the bucket opportunity may have already been missed, but if you come to another Ride the Pattern, you know, I think showing your appreciation would be great. All right. Yeah, I tried to say, her question was about the distances of your circles. I do think it's similar to a figure eight. I think however deep you go on that side should be the same as this side. So kind of get a feel for how deep you go down to this cone. That's what size you're going to make your circles on that side. So, you know, I believe it should be even. I would not make a big circle down there and then try to make it fit here and be trying to go below that cone. Any other questions? All right, I thank you all for coming.